Confucianism, a philosophical and ethical system developed by Confucius, Confuzi, 551 to 479 BCE, during the late spring and autumn period, has profoundly shaped Chinese social, political, and legal thought for over 2 millennia. Unlike Western legal traditions, which often emphasize codified laws and abstract principles of justice, Confucianism centers on moral cultivation, social harmony, and hierarchical relationships. Its conception of justice is inseparable from ethics, governance, and family obligations, reflecting a unique approach to law and morality in Chinese civilization. 1. The moral foundation of Confucian justice. Confucian justice, or yi, is primarily a moral concept rather than a strictly legal one. Yi represents righteousness and the moral disposition to do what is proper according to one's role in society. In this sense, justice is relational and context dependent. For Confucius, a just act is one that aligns with ethical norms, respects hierarchy, and fosters social harmony. This contrasts with legalistic systems where justice is measured against uniform statutory standards. Confucianism places particular emphasis on the cultivation of virtue, among rulers and citizens alike. A just society is one in which individuals internalize moral norms, ensuring that decisions, whether in governance, dispute resolution, or personal conduct, promote the welfare of others. Justice, therefore, is inseparable from moral rectitude and the cultivation of benevolence, din. A ruler who embodies Ren is expected to govern not through coercive laws alone, but by moral example, persuading subjects to act justly through emulation rather than fear. 2. Hierarchy and role ethics in Confucian justice. Central to Confucian thought is the concept of li, often translated as ritual, propriety, or social norms. Li governs the correct behavior in different social roles: parent-child, ruler-subject, elder-younger, husband-wife, and friend-friend. Justice is achieved when individuals act according to the expectations of these relationships, maintaining harmony and mutual respect. In Confucianism, social justice is thus relational. It is realized through the proper enactment of duties, not necessarily through abstract legal equality. This hierarchical approach emphasizes moral responsibility over legal obligation. For example, a father's authority over a child is justified morally as part of a cosmic order. Justice requires both protection of the child and adherence to parental guidance. Similarly, a ruler's authority is legitimate only if exercised with moral integrity. The famous Confucian ideal, the kingly way, Wangdao, prescribes benevolent governance rooted in virtue rather than coercive law. When rulers are moral and just, social harmony emerges naturally, reducing the need for formal legal enforcement. Number 3. Confucianism and legalism. Complementary or contradictory? While Confucianism emphasizes moral cultivation and ethical governance, Chinese history also witnessed the rise of legalism, especially during the Qin dynasty, 221 to 206 BCE. Legalism advocated strict laws, standardized punishments, and centralized authority as the primary means of maintaining order. Initially, Confucians were often critical of legalist practices, viewing them as promoting fear rather than virtue. However, over centuries, Chinese governance synthesized Confucian and legalist principles, especially during the Han Dynasty, 206 BCE to 220 CE. Confucian moral teachings provided the ideological foundation for rulership, while legalist methods ensured administrative efficiency and compliance. In practice, Confucian justice was applied through ethical guidance, social norms, and community oversight, whereas codified laws provided a fallback mechanism for transgressions beyond the moral sphere. This dual system created a uniquely Chinese legal culture, where morality and law coexist, each reinforcing the other. 4. Justice and dispute resolution. In Confucian society, dispute resolution was oriented toward reconciliation and moral correction rather than punishment. Village elders, clan leaders, and magistrates often acted as mediators, emphasizing moral persuasion and restoration of social harmony. The ideal outcome of any dispute was not simply assigning guilt, but rehabilitating relationships and ensuring communal stability. Confucian legal philosophy favored Qingli distinctions, differentiating cases according to context, intention, and social role. For example, a son who accidentally disrespects his parents may be admonished and morally corrected, rather than harshly punished, reflecting the Confucian priority of education over retribution. Justice, therefore, is restorative and educative, aligning with ethical and familial norms rather than purely punitive measures. 5. Confucianism and capital punishment. Confucian texts do not reject punishment entirely, but they treat capital punishment and harsh penalties as a last resort. The Analects and other classical works suggest that moral education and ritual observance can prevent crime more effectively than punitive measures. When penalties are necessary, they should reflect proportionality, social context, and moral reasoning. The Confucian ideal is to minimize suffering while maintaining social order, ensuring that justice serves ethical rather than purely retributive purposes. 6. Confucian justice in modern China. In contemporary China, Confucian ideas continue to influence legal philosophy and public administration. Although the People's Republic of China has codified legal codes in line with modern statutory systems, Confucian values, such as harmony, social responsibility, and moral education, inform judicial reasoning, administrative ethics, and conflict resolution. Community mediation programs, restorative justice initiatives, and family-based dispute settlement reflect a continuation of Confucian approaches to justice, even within a modern legal framework. Confucian principles also intersect with debates on human rights and social equity in modern China. Scholars argue that Confucian ethics can complement legal rights, offering a framework for moral responsibility, civic virtue, and social cohesion. Critics, however, caution that overemphasis on hierarchical norms may conflict with individual freedoms, highlighting the tension between ethical governance and legal egalitarianism. 7. Critiques and limitations. While Confucianism offers a morally rich conception of justice, it is not without critiques. Its hierarchical orientation can reinforce social inequalities, as duties and rights are unevenly distributed according to social role. Moreover, reliance on moral persuasion assumes a universal commitment to virtue, which may not hold in complex, pluralistic societies. Critics also note that Confucian justice may underemphasize formal procedural safeguards, leaving individuals vulnerable to the discretion of morally authoritative figures. Nevertheless, Confucianism's emphasis on moral education, relational ethics, and social harmony provides a distinctive lens through which justice is understood in Chinese culture. It prioritizes human development, communal well-being, and ethical governance, offering a long-term vision of justice that complements the more mechanistic functions of law. Conclusion: Confucianism's conception of justice is deeply intertwined with morality, hierarchy, and social harmony. Unlike Western legal traditions that focus on codified laws and abstract rights, Confucian justice is relational, context-sensitive, and morally oriented. It emphasizes virtue, proper conduct, and ethical governance, aiming to create a society where individuals act justly not out of fear of punishment, but through cultivated moral awareness. Historically, Confucian ideas influenced dispute resolution, administrative practice, and the integration of law and morality in China, while continuing to inform contemporary debates on governance and social ethics. Despite criticisms regarding hierarchy and procedural limitations, Confucianism remains a cornerstone of Chinese legal and moral philosophy, highlighting the enduring connection between virtue and justice in one of the world's oldest continuous civilizations. Sources: 1. Confucius, The Analects, translated by Arthur Whaley, vintage 1989. 2. Ebri, Patricia Buckley, The Cambridge Illustrated History of China, Cambridge University Press, 2010. 3. Ivanhoe, Philip J. Readings in Classical Chinese Philosophy, Hackett, 2002. 4. Nyland, Michael, The Five Confucian Classics, Yale University Press, 2001. 5. Engel, Stephen C., Human Rights and Chinese Thought, A Cross-Cultural Inquiry, Cambridge University Press, 2002. 6. Xiao Kung Chuan, A History of Chinese Political Thought, Volume 1, From the Beginnings to the 16th Century, Princeton University Press, 1979. 7. Quangloi, Mencius and Early Chinese Thought, Stanford University Press, 1997. 8. Johnson, David, Confucianism and Modern Chinese Legal Reform, Law and Society Review, 2015.